Hello, our presentation is about cultural sensitivity in business practices within international business. This is Ryan Colvin.
Sam Wright.
And Kalia Young.
Cultural sensitivity in business communication is necessary for success in international and intercultural business relationships.
Many multinational corporations have had trouble doing business in other countries because of contrasting cultural values.
Companies looking to successfully do business internationally should analyze and understand the culture of the people they are going to be working with, to be respectful, avoid offending, and communicate clearly.
Many people worldwide do not communicate like Americans and have very different cultural values.
Individuals within the business culture of the United States are considered to be very outspoken and competitive. Life is very fast-paced, and if you don't keep up, you will be left behind. While it is common to develop friendships at work, it is also common for them to be temporary and dissolve very quickly. Promotions, transfers, and changing jobs keeps the environment changing regularly, so keeping close friends for long periods of time is uncommon. When greeting a new coworker or a client, it is customary to shake hands. Gestures like hugs are very rare and only happen in rare occasions between close friends. It is common to engage in small talk and light conversation. Topics such as the weather, recent meals, or current television shows come up very regularly while passing coworkers in the hall, while leaving work, or even before meetings.
Dress codes vary between industry from very formal to very casual. For example, employees working at a tech company or a software developer may wear jeans, t-shirts, or even shorts, or an individual working in finance or in baking may be in a full suit and tie. Communication in the United States tends to be very informal. It is not uncommon for a subordinate to refer to his or her boss by their first name. Using formal titles can sometimes be interpreted as a dislike or disdain for another. Using jokes in the workplace is very common. It is a way of establishing close bonds with others as well as breaking the ice when meeting someone new. It is important to be sure to keep it clean and appropriate. Offending someone you just met could hinder your ability to work well in the future. While many aspects of business culture within the United States is very informal, timeliness is very important. Citizens of the United States live very fast-paced, busy lives, and thus put a high value on their time.
In Chinese culture, people are more reserved. Bowing is typically used instead of handshakes for business interactions, and it is better to be more formal than informal. Unlike in America, where business relationships change constantly and are rarely long-term, Chinese business relationships are usually long-term and often for life, and they are treated like lifetime commitments. In Chinese business culture, direct request of favors signals that the business relationship is firm. Chinese business relationships are also very sensitive to a concept called face. Face refers to an evaluation of a person's integrity, credibility, and self-image. There are many phrases in the Chinese language specifically relating to face.
Avoiding direct confrontation in conflict situations is common in Chinese business. It is best to have an established mutual contact to have a channel for this type of communication to occur. The use of praising and shaming is common with business interactions. Praising is used to recognize status, position, and to give positive face. Shaming is used to indicate distrust and to give negative face. Business card exchange is also very important in Chinese business interactions. It is important to give and receive business cards with both hands and to give a compliment when receiving a card.
It is important to make sure that when you move into an international market that you understand the language. Two great examples of companies making communication errors in a new market are Nike and Mercedes in China. In preparation for Year of the Monkey, Nike put out a pair of sneakers. Each shoe had a symbol on the back. The left shoe had the symbol Fa, which means good fortune, and the right shoe had the symbol Fu, which means wealth. Unfortunately, in China, when two symbols are put together, it can have a completely different meaning. Instead of it saying good fortune and wealth, it meant to become fat, a message that is far from Nike.
When Mercedes was trying to find a slogan that sounded close to their name, they used the phrase Ben Si. Nike had done something similar with their name and used the phrase Nike, which when combined together means to endure and conquer, a message indicative of Nike. Unfortunately, the symbols Ben and Si when put together is translated into rushing to die, something that you do not want to associate with driving a vehicle. After the error was discovered, they quickly changed to Ben Chi, two symbols that together mean dashing speed, a much better slogan for a car company.
Communicating across borders can be a challenge, especially in China where they use symbols instead of characters. If these two brands had been more careful and communicated with translators and other Chinese citizens, they could have spared themselves the embarrassment and the money they lost in implementing these ad campaigns.
How did Apple become such a success in China? Through patience and determination. While many companies come into China quickly, making assumptions, Apple took their time, studied the culture and market, and slowly worked their way in. It is easy for an international firm to get too comfortable with their success and assume they know what the people in a new market want because it has worked in other nations. eBay, for example, assumed they would be welcome, but did not think that Taobao, their Chinese equivalent, would be so prominent that they would not let go of any market share. This came from a lack of understanding of what the consumer wanted. Apple knew that there was a solid and diverse market for electronics, and while they did not start out on top, have slowly but surely gained market share.
The Home Depot looked at a growing middle class and assumed that, like the United States, this would mean that there would be millions of do-it-themselvers ready to improve their homes. Unfortunately, this ignorance of how the culture and their economy worked in China proved to be their downfall. Because labor is cheap in China, most people hire others to make improvements, while many others don't plan on improving their property at all.
As we have seen from the examples we discussed, taking cultural differences into consideration when communicating internationally in business is necessary for clear communication to happen. When cultural differences are not fully examined and accounted for, the intended communication will not be effectively relayed, and the repercussions can be as small as a loss of contact or as large as not being able to conduct business at all. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.